Right. Well, one of the bits of advice I could give you is look at your dress code. And this might not seem, the advice I give you might not now seem absolutely politically correct, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm more worried about your safety, especially young women in communities. One of the cultural factors of Yolngu is that they always, you'll see in traditional societies, people walk around in twos. You always have a bummerer, you always have a witness with you, you always have someone with you. And that's for protection of that person, especially if you remember people in the days of, they were out bush all the time and walking through country where there's snakes and so on and so on. So people always went in twos, but part of that was also to show that you were morally correct, that you weren't looking for opportunities to get involved in other things. Now your dress can also show that you might be advertising in a certain area in a certain way. And people might say, well, that's not fair. Well, are we worried about fairness or are we worried about safety and reality? I'm worried about safety and reality. Many people will look at someone, like if you're going overseas, you're given the advice of how to dress in some communities, otherwise you'll be seen in this way or that way. And it's the same thing here. If you come into a community where, like in Yolngu, in Arnhem Land at the moment, all the women are wearing what they call sister skirts, which is long dresses. Now, they never wore those dresses when I was out in communities in the 70s and the 80s. Matter of fact, people wore mini skirts. But the fact is they're wearing them now. And that is the dress code now for women in that community who don't want to be seen that they're singling themselves out as different. Many young people today are taking their moral standards and codes from the Hollywood reality. What they're seeing on TV, what they're seeing in the movies, where the hero gets his woman every night and the heroine gets her man every night these days, and it's very explicit. And so the dress code that you adhere to could be putting you into one of those confusing, not be it accurate boxes, but you're fitting that advertising code in a sense. And so try and dress the way the people dress in the community, or at least dress very in a moderate way. Otherwise, you might be sending out messages by yourself. If you're going to exercise, don't exercise in the early morning by yourself and then dress in tight shorts and lycra and so forth, because that sends another message. Try and exercise in groups, or at least a couple of people together, because that clearly sends the message, I am not interested in anybody who might be falling in love with me, or drug-induced love these days because there's drugs out in communities. So you're just doing things that keep yourself safe in community, and you can have a fantastic time and live there for many years and enjoy a really different cultural understanding, cultural relationship with people.